Back to the Haunted Huddle Over Coffee. My name is Lauren.
I'm T.
It's been a little while since we've done this, so life got very, what's the word? Life.
Life be lifing sometimes.
Bet.
But you know, life can bring you all sorts of surprises at the same time.
Sometimes life gives you lemons, but life made lemons, so squeeze it right back in life's eyes.
Actually, humans
People
made lemons.
Well, yeah.
Life has nothing to do with lemons. People have something to do with lemons.
Very true.
And I'll burn your house down with combustible lemons. And if you get that reference, A+ for you.
I don't get that reference, and I'm scared to know it.
It's a great speech. It's a very great motivational speech. But, yeah, as life has it, life can give you some surprises. Like, if you're sitting in your car, writing a check out to pay a bill after you got off a long shift, and a bunch of teenagers show up.
Why do I feel like this is a personal experience you're telling us about?
I never had this experience.
It was oddly specific, hence why I asked.
It's because it is specific. It is.
Are you okay?
It is a specific experience. Not mine, but it is an experience. Anyways, all of a sudden you experience like this wave of dread and fear from these teenagers that happen to be near you.
This is why we don't like children.
Okay, you guys don't like children.
I know. You're working with children. That's different. Anyway.
These aren't so much kids as they're like teenagers, but they show up to your car and ask if they can get a ride. And it's very polite, too. It's very polite. They're not trying to do anything. They're just asking if you could take them to their mom's house so they can get money to buy tickets to a late showing of a movie. Well, the issue with that is the movie started 45 minutes ago. And when this man...
Where the fuck is your mother?
And when this man looked at these teenagers, their eyes were completely black.
Well, that's where we're segueing, okay.
Good children.
Listen,
kids already freak me out.
Thankfully, these are teenagers. But that's still...
They're still children.
The experience is still scary for Brian Bethel. This happened in Abilene, however fuck you pronounce it. Abilene, Texas, back in the 90s. You know, the height of the X-Files. And he had this experience. He got off a late shift after working at, like, his newspaper post place. I forget what you call those places, but he was writing out a check to go pay a bill when these kids showed up. And he almost let them in the car. Instead, he drove away. He may have saved himself a lot of heartache later. But that is where we are going today, is the Black-Eyed Kids.
So, 1 second. How old is this guy?
I think he was in his 40s.
To any children that might be listening to this, or any adults, do not let a minor that you do not know into your vehicle. And minors...
Or try to get you out of your vehicle.
Yeah, no. Drive away, call the police, like, let's have a professional come help you. Sorry, I'm not.
Like, I get it when people, if a kid's asking you for help, a lot of people are like, oh my god, you poor thing. But at the same time, you don't know what's going on, and I don't think you're qualified. God forbid it's an actual child, not a black-eyed child. Not this weird phenomenon. Their parent finds out some random stranger had their child. I don't think it's going to end in a good lawsuit. Yeah, because it's alarming.
Yeah, with these kids, they're very polite. They don't try to bully you. They don't try to grab for you. They will always ask if you could if you're at home and you hear them knocking on your door and you answer, they will ask if they could come in to make a call. They would ask for a ride or something else. They'll like ask for something. Usually the thing is, if you say no and you reject them, you'll be totally fine. Nothing bad will happen to you. It's when you allow them in that is the issue. Bad things happen after you let them in or you help them. in some way, shape, or form.
So do we know where they come from, or like what they are, where they originated? Are they demons? Are they skinwalkers?
The funny thing is, there are some connections to changelings.
So it's a fucking fae.
It could be a fae. It could be extraterrestrials.
There we go. It happened.
Or it could be Wendy No-Nos.
We're not even 20 minutes in.
Boop, drops it. But my whole question is this. Does this mean that the entire show, Supernatural, with like the big famous demons that you see 24/7 in Supernatural, are just a bunch of black-eyed children?
It could be. They could be. There is a connection to the Men in Black, which is a whole different. It's not the cool Men in Black, like Agent J and K, but it's a different set of Men in Black. Think Slender Man, but with an actual face, but the same black eyes. There's another story that involves an elderly couple and a tie-in to the Men in Black.
I'm very excited for all of this, though.
So this story, this was out in like bumfuck Vermont during like in the middle of winter.
It's Vermont in the middle of winter.
This elderly couple had these two kids knock on their door, and they're like, "Can we come inside? Our parents are coming to get us soon." So the elderly couple are like, "Okay, well, we can't just let these kids out. You know, it's cold outside. Let's bring them in, right?" These kids didn't make eye contact at all, which isn't really weird because if you've been around autistic kids, not a lot of autistic kids make eye contact. So it's like, okay, well, maybe this isn't so bad.
If you've been around children, not all of them make fucking eye contact.
And I have a blank stare sometimes, I'm not gonna lie.
Most human beings just have trouble with eye contact in general. Like,
after a while, it feels uncomfortable and you look like you might be a serial killer.
well, it's like working with kids and working in a hotel. I deal with lots of humans. And I can't tell you how many times adults usually have their eyes in their phone and they're ignoring you. Or kids, they're so excited, just like be alive. They're playing with their hands, their eyes going a million miles a minute, and they're like looking around while they're talking to you.
The weird thing with these kids, right, with black-eyed kids, is they are very forceful. They're forceful in like the persuasive manner, where it's literally like, let us in. But it'll come off more as like, please let us home, or please let us in. We can't stay out here, sort of thing. Well, this elderly couple did invite them in. And of course, she's like, maybe I can go make you some hot cocoa. Warm you guys up. Well, it's when she saw one of the kids turn and face her, and she saw that their eyes were just completely pitch black. And it gets stranger after this, because as she's doing this, she comes out with the hot cocoa, and the kids ask her if they could use the restroom. Both of them. Not just one of them. Both of them. Mind you, she's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And I feel like this is a scene out of The Shining or whatever, but the power goes out and it is pitch black in the entire house. And this couple, the only thing this couple hears is, our parents are here. Well,
yay!
The couple looks out and they see a pair of men dressed in black standing at the foot of their driveway. The kids go to these two men and they all drive away. You think that's the end of like that whole experience? Throughout the entirety of this couple had 4 cats, and one of the cats refused to go near the kids, like, at all. Hissing, growling, just no. It wanted nothing to do with them. Well, throughout, like, the next couple weeks, and it started with her husband's nosebleed, but then more strange occurrences started happening. Their cats started dying one by one, which is usually a sign that a black-eyed kid is around.
What did the cat do?
Your animals start to go missing. Yeah. It's one of the more eerie stories that I've seen, and probably one of the other famous ones besides the Brian Bethel one. But anytime people have come into contact with black-eyed kids, there's one guy that ended up in a horrific car accident and died after his son let a black-eyed kid into his truck.
I like how we don't get an in-between. We have really stupid kids. And stupid as in way too trusting and haven't been out in the cold, hard world. And then we have these creepy motherfuckers.
And whatever happens after you've helped these black-eyed kids, it potentially it could be the man with the nosebleeds that I was mentioning, like the husband of the elderly couple. He turns out he had cancer.
Wait, the black-eyed kids gave him cancer, or he just happened to get cancer, like...
Who knows?
Who knows? It could have been a coincidence. But usually really bad stuff happens after you let these kids into, like, your space. Which is why they have to be invited in. Like, you have to invite that evil in.
It's a fucking fae.
Are they vampire? Wait, are vampires fae?
I mean, Edward Cullen counts as a fae, so...
Motherfucker.
Well, he's sparkly.
Real.
Excuse me, hold on a second. That thing, Edward Cullen, just zooped right on into, like, Bella's room whenever he wanted. He was never invited. He just went in through the fucking window, just like, beep! There he is.
Thing too,
what does that have to do with me saying they're not real?
Believe it. Let me read my monster books. Thank you.
People have nightmares of these kids standing in the corners of their room watching them sleep. Or standing outside their window.
Ew.
It is very horrifying as somebody who has, like, sleep paralysis / night terrors. It's not a comforting thought.
No, thank you.
But yeah.
I'm gonna happily pass on that.
There's also reports of it happening, like, as... I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but it happened in, like, 2014 in the UK, where there was a newspaper or a daily that had talked about black-eyed kids and people who have had experiences with them, and ghost hunters got involved.
I was gonna say, didn't it become like that phenomenon where everybody suddenly started experiencing it?
Yep, they think it started from the 1980s on up. Brian Bethel's story, I think, is, like, one of the first recorded ones, because he was a journalist too, so, like, he actually recorded all of his experiences, I think, like, 30 years later. And I think it started around the 1980s. Or that phenomenon started in the 1980s. But then again, I also think everybody's going into the whole, like... I don't know. I think of, like, 80s horror movies. And, like, that era of, like, late 80s, early 90s. There was a lot of, like...
really bad Thrasher movies?
Thrasher, or, like, slasher, alien, anything and everything, for the most part. On top of that, like, back in the 90s, X-Files was, like, a really big thing, too. And I remember this because my cousin has dolls of Mulder and Scully still. She was obsessed with the show. David Duchovny was one of my crushes as a young child, so there's that. It's not just Jeff Goldblum or Harrison Ford.
Excuse me, Harrison Ford will always be the epitome of my first childhood crush.
But yeah, ghost hunters took it very seriously. They took these, like, sightings very seriously. Like, are they ghosts? Are they vampires? But I don't really think there's anything else. I don't think there's as many sightings as there probably once were. I think it became part of the zeitgeist and then fizzled out.
It became a hysteria.
Yeah.
Kind of like, all right, guys, we're making too many waves. We gotta lay back for a little bit.
I feel like that's what happened with aliens. They were making too many crop circles.
I seriously don't think aliens are making crop circles. I believe in aliens, don't get me wrong. But I think they're not making crop circles as much as they're doing other shit, like infiltrating our government.
If they were doing that, you think we'd be in the predicament?
I think that's exactly why we're in the predicament we're in.
No, I think Trump is all human. There's no lizard man behind that.
Yeah, because even the lizard people aren't that bad, right?
That's just full-on stupidity right there. That's just full-on human ingenuity.
Seriously, though.
But I do think it's kind of creepy that, like, they take the shape of, like, teens and kids because they know, like, people will be, like, more susceptible to being like, sure, I'll help you, because it's usually, like, what an adult does for kids.
What's
I'll
worse
help
than
you.
a cryptid? A child. No!
Look, it's true, though. I think kids can be worse than cryptids. I would rather sit with Mothman than a 7-year-old.
No.
I will live and breathe by this. I'm not as scared of any kind of cryptid monster spirit. People, horrified. There's so many fucking sick bitches in this world.
If you think about it, they're doing the jobs of the demons. So, like, what if your demons are actually trying to protect you from all the sick people in the world? What if the demons and ghosts
You're turning
haunt
into
your
one
house?
of those bad TikToks that's like, my demon is my guardian angel. Stop that thought right now.
I mean, I'm just saying. I don't fear a haunted house because at most it's like if I'm too fucking tired to deal with your shit tonight.
I mean,
No.
you were in my house for like what, half a month?
Yes. And I sat there and I was like, I'm too tired for this shit. Only to have Anayu sit there be the only creepy thing in your house.
Anayu is a skinwalker. You can't convince me anything other, anything different, anything whatsoever. Skinwalker.
I hope you know that then all Pyrenees are skinwalkers.
I don't think Cisco was.
Cisco wasn't a pure Pyrenees.
Makes sense.
I'm waking up in the middle of the night.
All purebred Pyrenees have eyes like that.
I'm waking up in the middle of the night to see this white blob with dark eyes. It's like one of those analog horrors where it's like the CGI is done.
You know what we should do? That picture you took of her by my desk, we should just invert it and make it super creepy. I'll send it to Dino. He'll do it.
It's just not hard to invert a picture.
No, like those horror analog things that him and Jay were doing.
Like the Momo. That's all I picture when I think Skinwalker. I just think about the Momo.
I can't even say that anymore because we call our new dog Momo.
Nemo.
And he doesn't look anything like that, thank God.
I love, though, that 2 out of your 3 dogs are both named after movies.
Anayu's named after a movie.
What movie is Anayu named after?
Balto's mother is named Anayu.
I didn't know that. I'm about to get yelled at. I've never seen Balto.
You are not the first person.
Wow.
I know about Balto. I've read the story, and I read about Thing, and I've been to the statue in Central Park. Never seen the movie.
I find it hilarious that like the place that should have a statue of him
doesn't.
They don't. But New York has a statue of him. And it's like 2 opposite ends of the fucking country.
Well, it was over in Alaska.
Yeah. So why is it in New York, Lauren?
Have you met New Yorkers and their dogs? New Yorkers bring their dogs everywhere. They're worse than people from LA.
He wasn't our dog.
Do New Yorkers have sled dogs? Like, do they race dogs in New York? Am I unaware of this?
Tony.
No.
They
pull their dogs on a sled. Are you kidding me? They put their dogs on the sled and the humans pull the dogs around.
Tony, you've seen my husky. They don't make sled dogs here.
No.
What exactly?
Skinny and scrawny.
They make 2 types. There's 2 types of huskies. There's, hi, I'm a Long Island husky, and, ooh, that's a little cold. And then there's, hi, I'm a husky from anywhere else. Hello. That's it.
I don't know what personality you got, because you've seen my dog.
I have seen your dog.
And he doesn't act like that.
Point, though. How many New Yorkers actually have sled dog teams?
No.
No.
He doesn't act like the, oh, it's too cold outside. No, he thinks he's a sled dog. Is he structurally built to be one? Absolutely the fuck not. Maybe for a children's ride. No, if I put my baby niece in there, he would pull her perfectly fine because she's like 4.
I would love to see that, though. I think he would have the time of his life, though.
I would just have to worry about her falling off because child and uncoordinated.
Yeah.
So then you have Kenai. That's named after Kenai from Brother Bear, but then Kenai was also named after the Kenai Peninsula.
That's not what he was named after. He was named after the fucking bear.
I know, but
the
I'm
people
saying
that
the,
I got
the
him from. No, the people that I got him from were not that intelligent. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
No, but what I'm saying is the character was named after the Kenai Peninsula.
And where does that movie take place again?
It's Alaska. 'Cause all 3 brothers were named after. Actually, almost every character was named after, except for Coda, I think. But
every
the human
dog
characters
that I have, except for Nemo, has an Inuit name. You want to know what's better? Before we decided to get Nemo, way before, My mother's coworker was getting rid of a husky, and his name was Coda, and I wanted him so bad, and they told me no.
See, you have. I also
Say
love
it
the
with
way.
me.
I also love that they pronounced Tanana. It's actually pronounced Tanana.
Do, 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 do.
I like that we just disintegrated into talking about Disney movies.
It's Brother Bear. I mean, Alaska's got its own weird ass cryptids. I mean, they have some really like weird ass Inuit cryptids and monsters. And ooh, I should probably do something on that the next go around. It's about kids. Kids that eat you.
I thought you were going to talk about that creature that takes children into the water.
There's her too.
So this whole episode can just be about evil children.
Not even just evil children. There's so many things that just take children, which at that point, why?
Because they're pure and innocent.
No, I mean, they're not.
If you want the child, take the child. That's fine.
Have you met children nowadays? I know you have. You work with them.
Some of them are sweethearts.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever we get kids for this conference thing, because they do have to do a STEM-based science project and enter it into a contest in order to be like brought to DC for this conference, those kids are fucking smart. They give me hope for the future. I just hope that the education doesn't decline. But
that has nothing to do with them being douchebags.
Look,
you could be super intelligent, but still be a massive piece of shit morally.
I was gonna say, these kids are actually kind of sweet, too. They gave me like a pack of 6 chocolate bars.
Kenai, can you stop breathing in my face? It's disgusting. Go lay the fuck down.
You're just like, but mommy.
No, it's because I have ice cream. Kenai Ray, go lay the fuck down.
Give him the ice cream.
No, it's chocolate, dumbass. You're not getting it either. Don't give a fuck, Toad.
I love you just here. No chocolate ice cream.
He's not pleased.
No ice cream. No ice cream, no biscuits and gravy, no eggies.
You know that cat Merv? The Siamese one? And
yes.
He just growls at, like, his odor.
Merv is actually female. I found that out recently.
That's good to know.
So, make a smart choice. Hold on really quick. This is... Hold on.
He doesn't make smart choices. He chooses violence.
Cat butthole in my face. So is that everything we have on the Black-Eyed Children?
That is it for all the Black-Eyed Children things. There's really not a whole lot on them because they are just kind of like a momentary blip in time. I was trying to find as much as I possibly could, and I really couldn't. But if you hear like random knocks in the middle of the night on your front door, just don't answer it. Just pretend you're asleep.
I don't think anybody was gonna do it anyway.
You never know. There are people that are no survival skills.
Like my cat. Toad has... I have survival skills. Listen,
no.
I have survival skills. I'm just gonna die as an episode of Dateline one day helping the wrong person.
That equivalates to you do not have survival skills.
I do. I just...
Tony?
Huh?
Does that mean that she doesn't have survival skills?
I think if you're too trusting and you're trying to do the right thing, your heart's in the right place, but you just don't take that chance. You just don't take that chance, especially if it's a dude. You just don't take that chance.
I trust children a lot more.
And even then, you never know.
Episode.
It's like, these kids might give you cancer.
Cancer?
They might give you the cancer.
The kids might give you the cancer.
Actually, you know, remember that time that, they who shall not be named and me were at the beach and that guy came up randomly and then just completely disappeared.
Are you going to try and convince us that he was an older black-eyed child?
I mean, he could be. Most military are just young guys. Some of them look like teenagers. But he just abruptly went, boop! Don't know where he went. Maybe Poseidon took him. Either way, it was really eerie. Really creepy. Kind of spooky. Maybe he was a Men in Black. Nah, he was in the sun and in the water. He wasn't slender at all. Never mind. Yeah, it's just a creepy Air Force guy. I don't know. But yeah, don't open your door or you'll get the cancer.
Open your door, you're gonna get the cancer.
And if you see yourself compelled to open the door, walk away. And then maybe not, maybe just call it a night after that. Just lock your door. Stay in there for the next week.
Gotta wait a week for it to wear off, you know?
Turn into Final Destination too, so you know.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Haunted Huddle Over Coffee. We hope you join us next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I hate that my light flickered.